She was already on my porch when I opened the cabin door, arms crossed, phone out, flashlight beaming straight in my face like I was a criminal. "You're trespassing," she snapped. "This is private HOA property, and you don't belong here." I blinked. It was 3 a.m. My dog was still half asleep behind me. "You done yelling? Or should I call you the intruder?" "I'm calling 911, she hissed. "Right now." And she did, right in front of me on speaker, loud enough for the whole lake to hear. "It's hello. There's a strange man in cabin 3B," he broke in. "I think he's armed." I didn't say a word. I just stepped back inside, grabbed a paper off the table, and walked right back out. The whole time, she was pacing in front of my porch like she was leading a raid. When the deputies pulled up 15 minutes later, lights flashing across the water, she practically ran to them. "That's him!" she shouted. "He threatened me. He's not even allowed to be on HOA land." The taller officer turned to me. "Sir, do you have any ID? Any proof of residency?" I handed him the paper. "Not a lease, not an ID, a land." The officer's eyebrows rose. He studied it for a second, then turned it over to his partner. Karen leaned in like she was about to protest, but stopped cold when he read the bolded section out loud. "This property, including cabins 1 through 12, lakefront access Route A, and surrounding 74 acres, is the sole possession of," he paused, looked up, ... "You own this?" I didn't even smile. "I don't just own this cabin. Own everything from the lake to the highway, including the dirt she's standing on." Karen's face turned paper white, and I hadn't even shown them the county map yet. Karen took a shaky step back, eyes darting between me and the deputies like they might suddenly laugh and say I was joking. But they didn't. They just kept looking at the paper. One of them adjusted his belt, cleared his throat, and said, "Ma'am, you said this man broke in. Can you confirm you saw him force entry?" She blinked fast. "Well, I didn't see him break in, but I know for a fact he doesn't belong here. I'm the acting HOA president, and this cabin was marked as vacant. He must have forged something. People fake documents all the time." I stepped closer, calm. "That deed's registered with the county clerk's office. I'd be careful who you accuse of forgery."
She whipped toward me.
"You think owning a cabin makes you powerful? The HOA has rules. We can vote to have people removed permanently." One of the deputies raised an eyebrow. "Even when that person owns the land you're trying to regulate?" Karen's mouth opened, then closed. She wasn't used to being questioned, not by men with badges, not by people who weren't scared of her clipboard and her threats. "I want him off the property," she hissed, doubling down. "He's disturbing the peace, harassing me, and I don't feel safe." The officer turned to me. "Sir, we've been here 10 minutes. You haven't moved. You've been respectful. And based on this document, she's technically on your land." That's when I handed over the second paper. "The county boundary overlay. See this line?" I pointed. "That's the county's original zoning file from 1987, Karen's. HOA was built on a slice of land that never got formally separated. Long story short, this whole area, it's unincorporated. The HOA doesn't actually exist on paper anymore." Karen's jaw locked tight. "That's impossible. I run the HOA. We have meetings. We collect dues. We write," I said slowly. "And you're collecting money on land you don't legally control. That's called fraud." One of the officers pulled out his notepad. "Ma'am, do you have documentation proving your authority here? Any permits? Filed paperwork?" She didn't answer. She just stared at me like she was finally realizing this wasn't going to end the way she thought. And it hadn't even gotten ugly yet. Karen's voice cracked as she tried to recover. "Look, I don't have the papers on me, but I can get them. This whole neighborhood has followed HOA guidelines for years. We have structure, order. We don't need outsiders coming in and ... changing things. Outsiders?" I tilted my head. "Karen, I was born in this county. My grandfather built this cabin with his own hands. Only reason you don't recognize me is because I've been gone for a while. ... Serving," that word hit harder than she expected. The shorter deputy looked up. "Military." I nodded once. Marine Corps. For tours. Came back to find out some self-appointed neighborhood tyrant was threatening to bulldoze my property because my porch light wasn't the right shade of white. Karen stiffened. That was a violation notice and the light was blinding. The deputy didn't even hide the smirk. You wrote someone up over a porch bulb. Karen's voice shrilled. We have standards. I stepped forward and kept my tone steady. I came back to reclaim what's mine. Not just this cabin, but the county land my family's owned since 1948. While I was gone, people like you tried to sell parts of it, fence it off, and control it. But the thing is, I've got legal restoration of title, signed off last month. You might have fooled some neighbors, but not anymore. Karen's lip curled. You think this scares me? I've dealt with squatters before. You're nothing special. That's when headlights lit up the road again. A black SUV pulled up, slow and deliberate. Two men stepped out. One wore a suit, the other had a clipboard and a badge hanging from his neck. Karen froze. Who are they? The suited man stepped forward. County records. We were asked to come verify a complaint of fraudulent governance? Something about a dissolved HOA still collecting dues and issuing fines? Karen's face drained. Who filed that complaint? I raised my hand. That would be me. She backed up a step, like her whole world was starting to crack. You can't do this. You can't just dismantle a community. No, I said quietly, but I can expose the fake one you built. And she hadn't even seen the audit footage yet. Karen's arms slowly dropped to her sides. She wasn't yelling now, just blinking like someone had cut the power from her brain. The county officer opened his folder and began reading off documents like he was listing crimes from a rap sheet. Unauthorized fines issued, no charter renewal filed in over 12 years. HOA listed as inactive in the county database since 2013, no board elections logged. And here he flipped the page, records of bank transfers. Tens of thousands collected under a defunct entity, Karen stammered. Those were dues, people paid willingly. We had community projects, picnics, maintenance, paid willingly, the suited man asked, or under threat of violation. Notices property liens and police calls like tonight. She turned to the deputies for support, but they had stepped back, arms folded, watching. Karen's voice was getting thinner. This is all being twisted. He's manipulating you, he's just bitter and wants revenge? No, I said firmly. I want accountability, she scoffed, desperate now. So what, you want to press charges? You want me arrested? We're trying to keep the community clean? The man with the badge finally spoke up. Calm. Almost bored. Not arrested? Not yet. But this is the part where we issue a cease and desist. Order for all HOA activity on these properties. Effective immediately. You can't be serious, Karen whispered. This was my life, my position. And you abused it, I said, leveling my voice. You used it to kick people out. You threatened that retired couple on Lot 4 for putting up a flag. You fined a single mom for repainting her door. You called ICE on the Garcias. Karen's jaw clenched. That's not true. I have recordings, I said. Multiple. Every false notice. Every threat. Every time you said, I'll have you gone by the weekend, you called 911 tonight, because you thought you still had power, but you don't. She took one last wild step forward. I was trying to protect this place. I didn't move. And I fought overseas to protect this country. Don't talk to me about protection. Silence. Even the crickets had stopped. Karen's face started to twitch, tinny cracks breaking through the mask. You don't know what you've done.
Ow.
Oh, I know exactly what I've done, I said, staring her down. I've taken back what was always mine, and I wasn't done yet, because in 24 hours her entire fake empire was about to be broadcasted across every screen in the state.